Millionaire CEO was dining at a restaurant until a little girl started singing. What happened next changed everything. Before we dive into this emotional journey, comment below, where in the world are you watching from? Smash the subscribe button and turn on notification. You won't want to miss how this ends. Michael Anderson, a well-known CEO. You wouldn't know it by looking at him, but he was one of the richest men in the city. The kind of man people write about in business magazines. Michael married Laura in his late 20s, a warm and patient woman who saw the good beneath his ambition. Soon after, their daughter Isabella was born. For a while, life felt complete. Michael would cradle Isabella in his arms, singing his mother's lullaby to lull her to sleep. But as his company, Innovate Tech, grew, so did his responsibilities. Late nights at the office replaced family dinners, and business trips overshadowed school recitals. Laura tried to bridge the gap, but eventually, the strain became too much. 5 years later, they divorced, agreeing to share custody of Isabella. Yet, Michael's schedule left little room for his daughter, and their time together dwindled to sporadic weekends. Michael went home to a house bigger than most people's dreams. Tall gates. Empty halls. Marble floors that echoed when he walked. The kind of place where footsteps sound lonely. Every room was picture perfect. But nothing felt real. No family photos. No drawings on the fridge. No music. Just silence. In the mornings, he woke up alone. Coffee made by a machine. News on a screen. Another day of numbers, meetings, and polite nods. His car took him straight to the top floor of a glass tower. His name was on the building. His office had the best view in the city. But no one ever asked how he was doing. Boardrooms filled with voices, but none that knew his heart. They talked about stocks, growth, deadlines. No one mentioned family. No one asked about Isabella. Most of them didn't even know he had a daughter. Isabella. She used to run to him when he came home. He would lift her high, spin her around, and she would laugh until she lost her breath. He used to sing to her at night. The same lullaby his mother once sang to him. Hush now, my darling, close your eyes. Let the stars watch over you tonight. Dream of the places you'll go, my dear. For in your heart, there's nothing to fear. That song used to be a bridge between generations. From his mother's tired voice to his own steady whisper. But now, even that felt far away. Calls with Isabella had turned short. Sometimes she didn't pick up. Other times, he didn't have time to try. He missed birthdays. Recitals. School plays. He told himself he was building her future. But what future was that, without him in it? He had made it to the top. He owned the city skyline. But couldn't buy back a single bedtime story with his daughter. That night at the Hearth restaurant, something shifted. Not in the room, but inside him. It started small. A hum. He heard it before he saw her. A soft tune carried through the warm air. He turned, slowly. And there she was. A young girl at a table nearby. Her family was laughing, sharing bread, pouring water into little cups. And she was humming. At first, Michael thought he imagined it. But then, she began to sing. The room quieted. Forks paused midair. Chairs stilled. Conversations faded into hush. All eyes turned to the small girl standing near her family's table. Sophia. 8 years old, standing straight, hands at her sides. No stage. No spotlight. Just a voice. She opened her mouth, and the first note slipped out like a breeze through trees. High. Soft. Clear. And then the words followed. Hush now, my darling, close your eyes. Let the stars watch over you tonight. Hearth restaurant held its breath. No music played. No instruments backed her. Just one voice, steady and open, singing words that reached places no sound system could. People turned in their chairs. Smiles grew. Some parents looked at their children. Some couples reached for each other's hands. One man stopped breathing. Michael didn't blink. His eyes locked on Sophia, but he wasn't really seeing her. He was seeing something else. Someone else. The second line of the song pulled him further in. Dream of the places you'll go, my dear. His chest tightened. The walls of the restaurant melted away. He saw a hospital room. White walls. The sound of beeping machines. His mother's hand, cold in his. Her voice, weak. Trying to smile. Trying to sing, even when her lungs couldn't. He hadn't visited much near the end. Just once, when she could barely stay awake. And then she was gone. Sophia's voice climbed gently. For in your heart, there's nothing to fear. Michael shook his head slowly, but not in disbelief. In pain. In shame. Now another image came. Isabella. Age 5. Holding a stuffed bear. Sitting on the edge of her bed. Waiting for him. But he'd cancelled again. Daddy has to work tonight, he had said. Her voice had dropped when she replied, that's okay. But it wasn't okay. And deep down, he knew it. Sophia kept singing. No breaks. No nerves. Just heart. Michael gripped the table. His hands trembled. The room around him blurred. Not from the wine. Not from the lighting. From the tears now gathering in his eyes. He wanted to leave. To run. To hide. But he couldn't move. The song held him there. The final line came again. For in your heart, there's nothing to fear. Over and over, Sophia sang it. And each time, the words hit deeper. They weren't just a song anymore. They were truth. They were a mirror. Michael's heart cracked. Not all at once, bit by bit. He saw the contract he signed the day of his divorce. Laura had cried in that room. He hadn't. He had told himself it was for the best. That they'd all move on. But he hadn't. And maybe Isabella hadn't either. His head dropped. He covered his face. The tears came hard now. The kind you can't stop. The kind that hurt. The song ended. Silence hung in the air. Then came clapping. Loud, cheerful, proud clapping. The room came back to life. But Michael couldn't join in. He was still in the storm. Sophia bowed, giggled, and turned to her table. Then, she noticed him. She tilted her head. Her smile faded just a little. And then, without asking, she walked to him. Tiny steps. Quiet shoes. She stopped at his table. Looked up. Are you okay, mister? Michael tried to smile, but it broke halfway. His voice cracked. Yes. I think so. She waited. Eyes wide. Not scared. Just kind. Your song, he whispered. It was beautiful. Sophia smiled again. My grandma taught me. He nodded, wiping his eyes with a napkin. She said it's magic, the girl added. It makes people feel better. Michael swallowed hard. His voice was low. It is magic. She leaned in, as if sharing a secret. Do you feel better now? He looked at her. Tears still wet on his face. But there was something else now. A light returning. I don't know yet, he said. But I think? I know what I need to do. Sophia beamed. Okay. And just like that, she skipped back to her family. Michael sat still, watching her go. The napkin now damp in his hand. The lullaby still echoing in his head. He looked out the restaurant window. Cars passed. People moved. Life went on. But inside him, time had stopped. And something had started. He reached into his pocket. Pulled out his phone. Scrolled through contacts. Paused. There it was, Laura. His thumb hovered. He tapped. The phone rang once. Twice. His chest pounded. She answered. Michael. He took a deep breath. Hi, I'm sorry to call so late. Her voice was cautious. Is everything okay? He looked down. Around. Back to Sophia. And then spoke. I want to see Isabella. This weekend. If that's still okay. Silence on the line. She responds, of course. Another pause. She misses you. Michael's voice broke again. I miss her too. They agreed on a time. They hung up. Michael lowered the phone, placed it on the table. And for the first time in years, he felt lighter. Not because everything was fixed. Not because he had all the answers. But because he had finally said the right words. And he knew what he had to do. He had to show up. He had to be there. Not once. Not briefly. But fully. He had chased numbers for so long, he had forgotten faces. Forgotten hugs. Forgotten the sound of laughter that came from love, not success. Sophia's song didn't just stir a memory. It cracked a wall. And through it, light poured in. He rose from his chair. Left a tip on the table. Walked slowly out of the restaurant and into the night. Above him, the stars hung bright. Just like the song said. Watching over him. If this moment hit you hard, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, the smallest voices sing the loudest truths. The next morning came quiet and clear. No alarms. No meetings. No rush. Michael sat at the edge of his bed, phone in hand, staring at one name. Laura. His thumb hovered again. He had called the night before. But now, in daylight, it felt more real. Would she answer again? Would Isabella even want to see him? He tapped. It rang. Once. Twice. Hello? Her voice was calm, but guarded. He spoke carefully. Hi, I just wanted to say thank you. For saying yes. I mean it. There was a pause. She's excited, Laura said. She was up early. Kept checking the window. Michael closed his eyes. That image alone hit deep. I'll be there soon, he said. Just, thank you. No problem, she replied. And hung up. Michael took a deep breath. This was it. Not a business pitch. Not a handshake. This was something else. Something he used to be good at. Being present. He drove with the windows down. The wind felt fresh. When he pulled up to Laura's house, the front door flew open. A blur of dark hair, bright shoes, and laughter ran toward him. Daddy! Isabella shouted. Michael stepped out just in time to catch her hug. He lifted her, just like he used to. She was heavier now. Older. But that moment felt the same. Ready for the park? He asked. She nodded fast. I brought crackers for the ducks. He smiled, holding her hand. Perfect. The park was quiet, wide, and green. They walked the path near the pond. Tossed crumbs to the ducks. Watched them splash and flap. Michael listened. She talked. About school. About a friend named M.A. About how she wanted a turtle. About how she didn't like math. He nodded, laughed, and asked questions. Real ones. And for the first time in a long while, he wasn't checking the time. They sat on a bench under a tree. Isabella leaned her head on his shoulder. "I missed you," she said softly. Michael's throat tightened. "I missed you too," he said. More than she would ever know. A breeze passed. Leaves swayed above. She looked up at him. "Do you remember the song you used to sing?" He blinked. "Which one?" She smiled. "The one from when I was little. The one about stars." He looked at her. Then out at the water. Then back again. "I remember," he said. She leaned in. "Can you sing it?" Michael took a breath. The same breath he had taken years ago. And then he sang. "Hush now, my darling, close your eyes. Let the stars watch over you tonight. Dream of the places you'll go, my dear. For in your heart, there's nothing to fear." Isabella closed her eyes, still resting against him. The ducks, the wind, the world, all quieted. Only the lullaby remained. It wasn't perfect. His voice cracked halfway through. But she didn't care. To her, it was enough. To him, it was everything. Have you ever had a second chance? What would you give for one? What would you sacrifice to make it right? Let's discuss in the comments. They stayed at the park for hours. Took silly pictures. Chased squirrels. Shared ice cream that melted too fast. Later, as they walked back to the car, Isabella grabbed his hand. "Will I see you next weekend?" Michael stopped walking. He looked down at her. "Yes," he said. "Every weekend I can. I promise." Back at Laura's door, Isabella gave him another hug. "I'm glad you came," she whispered. "I'm glad you wanted me to," he replied. Laura stepped outside. She didn't speak at first. Just watched them. She was happy today. "I haven't seen her smile like that in a long time," Laura said. Michael nodded. "I've been gone too long." Laura looked at him. "So, what now?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at his car. At his phone. At the home behind her. And then he said, "I'm going to make space. I have a team, I need to let them lead. I'll be around more." Laura studied him for a moment. She didn't need promises. She needed proof. And for now, this was a start. Michael got into his car. Started the engine. But he didn't drive off right away. He just sat there. Smiling. Thinking. The office could wait. His life couldn't. Back home, he opened his laptop. Typed up an email to his assistant. Subject line, change of plan. He asked for his calendar to be cleared. Meetings pushed. Trips cancelled. He gave instructions to share tasks with others. Not just once. For good. His message ended with one line. From now on, family comes first. The city outside glowed through his windows. The same skyline he once chased. Now just a backdrop. He walked through his big, quiet house. Into a room he hadn't opened in months. A small bookshelf. A stuffed bear. A picture of Isabella from when she was 3. He sat on the edge of the bed. Not his bed. Her bed. The one she used to sleep in when she stayed over. He picked up the bear. Held it close. Closed his eyes. And whispered the lullaby one more time. Because now, it wasn't just a memory. It was a promise. A new beginning. And this time, he wasn't going to let it slip away. Weeks passed. Then months. Michael didn't disappear from the world of business. But he no longer lived in it. Not fully. He still wore suits. Still signed papers. Still held meetings. But they started later. Ended earlier. And sometimes, they didn't happen at all. He made space. Space for morning walks, school pickups, bedtime stories, and Saturday pancakes. At the office, people noticed. He smiled more, listened longer, talked less about growth and more about balance. He hadn't changed overnight. But something in him had shifted. For good. And then, one Friday evening, he returned to the place where it all began. The Hearth restaurant. This time, he wasn't alone. Isabella sat across from him, legs swinging under the chair, eyes scanning the menu. She wore a purple hoodie and a ponytail. Michael watched her with quiet joy. He didn't need the wine tonight. Didn't check his phone. He was exactly where he wanted to be. Their food came. Burgers and fries. They laughed about ketchup spills and onion rings. Then the door opened. A small family stepped inside. A young girl skipped to her table, curls bouncing. Michael paused mid-bite. Isabella noticed. "You okay?" He smiled. "Yeah. Just remembering something." The night moved on. Michael leaned back in his chair. Full meal. Full heart. His daughter laughed across from him. He joined her. No tension. No regret. Just presence. And there it was. The real kind of success. Not found in numbers. Not measured in square footage or shares. It's in the small things. Warm hands. Shared songs. Moments you don't rush through. He had once built a tower of glass. But now, he was building something better. Something that couldn't be broken by time. The story of Michael Anderson is not about wealth. It's about return. About hearing a song at the right moment. And letting it guide you home. Because at the end of it all, success means nothing without someone to sing your song. If this story moved you, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us tell more tales like Michael's.